give that an intro for this video?
No.
No?
No.
That was my bad side as well.
I think that's a no. A firm no. Do you want to do an intro for this painting?
Well, this is a puddle.
She's not allowed to do it. For those of you that are subscribers, you would have seen most of this painting on video. I worked on the tree, we've worked on the wall, but now I'm going to show you how I worked on the path here. It's more than just a puddle. There's a lot that's gone into this. I'm going to show you right now how I do that, and perhaps you can copy along with me. So, looking closely at the photograph, you can see that obviously, first thing is it's an unmade road. So it's less smooth than a tarmac road would be. It obviously has these undulations which are causing puddles. I think the puddles themselves are going to be fairly simple. There's not a great deal going on there. The most difficult part is going to be the road itself and getting all of those little stones that we can see in the right place, and then almost in some ways blending that in with the area of grass, especially on the right hand side. But actually I think it looks more tricky than it's going to be. So to start off, what we are going to do is give the road another coat of paint, and we're going to do that to begin with the tree and texture. This is the series 3 tree and texture brush, size 3/8, and we're going to just put a darker colour first of all on that road, very much the same way as we do with trees, or we have done with the stone walls. We're just going to do that now. So going to do is it's a slightly darker colour than the road itself, and I haven't loaded the brush up too much. I've wiped off the majority of the paint on the palette as I'm mixing, so there's not a lot on it. Now this tree and texture brush is a very stiff brush, so it does give us, if you're gentle, it just gives you that nice textured stipple effect. And I'm just going to go in between those puddles on the area of road. So just to give you a close-up, what that is doing is giving us just a very gentle, textured feeling to that. I'm going to go over the whole area like this to begin with, and then the next stage is to add some of those stones that we can see. Okay, so that's given us a slightly darker texture now. It's a bit darker than the photograph, but now what we need to do is add some of those lighter points. So using the same technique, I'm just going to lighten up the paint that we were using, make sure there's not too much paint on the brush, and I'm just going to now kind of even out a little bit some of the colours, because you can still see some of the underpainting underneath, and you can see the brush marks where it's light. We need to kind of lose some of that a little bit. And I'm being very gentle with this, not to give just one big brush mark. We want many, many small brush marks. That's going to be the trick here. So just going over the top of it, evening it out, so that we lose some of those lighter areas. Okay, so we've evened that out now. I'm going to now start to add some of those details, some of the stones, and in particular we're going to add the darker parts first of all. We're going to do that with the rigger brush, the Series 1 size 0. And I've just mixed up a little bit of darker paint here. It's not quite black, in fact that might be a little bit too dark. So I just add a little bit of white, and then I'm just going to, using just the point of the brush, the smallest little dots. So I'm deliberately not putting these darker marks in the water at the moment, because we need to get those almost finished before we can add some of the stones sticking through the surface, popping up through the surface. So just trying to concentrate on the areas on the actual road itself where we can see the stones. Little dots, very, very small, that we're putting on here. And certainly as we go further back, okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of lighter texture now to this. I don't want to do the lighter parts of the stones just yet. I just want to do the bits in between the stones. They're a little bit more subtle. And I think to begin with, we're going to try the Series 4 size 1. Starting to add a few little lighter areas. Okay, put that to one side. I'm going to go back to the rigger brush again just to put in some of these lighter areas of stone. I'm going to keep the colour the same as the colour we've just been using. But now what we're looking to do is actually put some slightly bigger areas of stone down. So just bigger highlights rather than with the fan brush we were getting generalised light areas. Now we're looking for some more obvious blips of light on those stones. So just adjusting the colour now of some of these highlights. So we're adding a little bit more warmth to some of the stones. We're not going to go all over the whole area like that, but there certainly is in the photograph some slightly warmer stones. So just added a little bit of titanium white and orange to the mix. Now we are just tidying up the water. What I don't want is to be able to see any of the blocking below. It's a little bit different this to the actual road itself in that there's hardly any texture. We do have some ripples, we have some movements on the surface, perhaps we can even see a hint of stones underneath, perhaps, but on the whole it's that little bit smoother. So using the Series 7 size 8 now, I'm just tidying it up a little bit, ready to start adding some of the details. Okay, so that's the water almost blocked in again, I suppose, really. We've just softened it. Now what we need to do is start to add some of the details within the water. We can see where the rain is falling and adding little ripples. And we have some of the stones that are going into the water. So that's what we now need to do. So we're going to start working on the water, but we're going to work from the back here. And then we're going to move forward. In the back here, it's very difficult to see looking at the photograph exactly what's going on. We've got a fair amount of light on the water. We've also got some stones within that as well. I'm going to try and get it looking as similar as I can, but I haven't actually blocked it in with a group of stones in this part, so I'm going to leave those out. Just need to start adding a little bit of detail as we go. So first of all, I'm going to add some of these little light areas I can see. Once again, can't make out exactly what they are, but I don't really know that it's super important that we know precisely what we're painting. We just need to get the right colours in the right places. Simple as that. So I'm using a rigger brush. This is the Series 1. I've thinned the paint down ever so slightly so that we can get a nice tight sharp line. We tend to actually get a lot of these white or these little light areas around the outside of the puddle more than anything else. And now just starting to put in the ripples, the rings there where we have the water dripping probably from the tree. If I remember rightly, it was raining the day I took the photograph, but some of these drops sort of further back here seem to be quite big. So I'm assuming that's not just a gentle downpour. I would have thought that's probably a bigger drip, as I say, coming from the tree there. Okay, so getting the water details in, I think what we can do now is start to add some of those stones within the water. We have some darker areas as well, just on the edges of the puddle there. So using the same brush, just a darker paint. Just going to add some of those dark details in, and then we can go ahead and add some lighter stones as well. Bring in some of those stones just into the front, just over the water a little bit. Okay, so just going to add some lighter stones now. Okay, so the puddles are starting to look good now at the back. We just need to do the same for the area at the front here. So I'm going to use the Series 5. This is the large one. This is the size 1/2 inch. That'll allow us to get that looking good. So just using the tip of the brush, doing kind of sideways brush marks. Okay, back to the rigger brush again. I'm going to start putting in some of these darker ripples. just giving this puddle on this side a little bit more movement on the surface. Continuing with that comber brush again, we just pulled out a more of a light brown with a touch of green in there. Okay, back to the rigger brush just to add the lighter details again, just at the tops of those stones. Final puddle here, same technique, same principle, just bringing some of these darker little stones over the top and then adding some of those highlights. So there we go, another painting to add to the collection. A little bit different. I always say a little bit different, don't I? Start again. You know, the sun's not shining. It's cold. That wasn't cold. I'm talking rubbish yet again. Let's do it again. It was a challenge. It was a challenge, but I enjoyed it. Why do I keep looking around at the painting? Let's start that again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it for this lesson, and indeed this painting. It was a challenge, this one. It was a challenge. Trying to get it as detailed as we can is always a challenge, and there's always room for improvement. But I enjoyed painting it, and I hope you enjoyed watching it as well. I'd just like to say, for those of you that would like to learn to paint in this style, you can check out my online painting school. The link is in the description below. Also, if you are interested in purchasing the panels like the one I've painted on here, or you'd like to purchase my brush set to enable you to paint pictures like this, then you can also do that on the pop-up banner. Click on the pop-up banner, that'll take you to the website. Or once again, the link is in the description. Also, you can follow me on social media. There's my Facebook, my Instagram, Twitter. All of those are also in the link down below. But I think that's finally it. I think I'm going to go home now. I hope you all enjoy the weekend, the week, the evening, the morning, the afternoon, whatever, wherever you are. And I shall see you in the next video. Bye everybody for now.